Alright guys, welcome to this episode of Head-to-Head Battles. I know it's been a while since we've done kind of like a sit-down video, but I thought it was about time we did one. And this one's pretty important. If you saw in the thumbnail, we're talking about Collector's Rare today, and kind of where it sits on that level of rarity in Yu-Gi-Oh! And if you think the prices that you see online on TCG Player are kind of worth its price tag. So before we get into that, as always, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell to join the notification squad. And if you want to talk about more market watches and rarities, come join us on Twitch at twitch.tv/HeadtoHeadBattles. We stream every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at 7:30 p.m. EST. And if you like the quality here, the quality is just as good over there. All right, be there or be an octagon. So without further ado, let's roll the intro. Alright, so it seems like we got most of the reveals from 2 Chaos, and a lot of people are cracking their packs open. But there is a rumor going around that there's an issue at the distro level where people aren't getting their products, so the prices are slightly inflated on Toon Chaos, which includes the collector's rares. But everyone's going to get their products in the end, so the market will restabilize, so you need to wait for that before you make any hasty decisions, okay?
Wait, we can't forget about our sponsor, Sugen!
Without them, we wouldn't be able to bring the amazing content like the video you're watching now.
Make sure to buy their field centers and support them on Patreon and PayPal. Links down in the description down below.
Also, check them out on Twitch at twitch.tv/HeadtoHeadBattles.
Follow us on Instagram and Twitter. And send fan mail to our P.O. Box. Now, let's get back into the action.
So as I mentioned before the intro, I want to talk to you about where you felt collector's rares kind of line up in terms of rarity in Yu-Gi-Oh! Are you one of those who think the collector's rares are more value than ghost rares, or ultimate rares, or even dare say Starlight Prismatic rares, or Starlight rares, right? So essentially, Yu-Gi-Oh! Players like these 2 words, okay? First edition. If you like first edition, give this video a thumbs up, alright? And when you have collector's rare and first edition just smushed together, you get something called value, collector's value, right? I mean, they're called collector's rare, so obviously it's meant for the collector, right? And the collector market is just as alive as the competitive and casual markets, right? But when we're thinking about prices on individual cards, you need to think about ratios. Now, from all the cases pulled, people have deemed that Toon Chaos has a ratio of 3 on the low end, 4 average, and 5 on the high end for ratios per case. So if you were to open 12 boxes, the chance of you pulling a collector's rare is either 1 in 3 boxes or 1 in every 2.5. So essentially, if you are on the higher end, you are talking about 5 collector's rares per case. Now the problem is this, right? If we're comparing it to something like Starlight Rare, there are 4 to 5 Starlights in one set, right? And you're getting 1 per 2 case. Now, if you think about that mathematically, there are 15 collector's rares. So if you are trying to chase a specific collector's rare, you will end up opening close to what you would have to open to get 1 of each Starlight rare in terms of, rarities, right? So therein lies the problem. Where do we put the price tag for collector's rares? Now let's look at content creators like DZeef. Okay, my man DZeef pulled 2 collector's rares in a single box, and on top of that, he pulled the exact same collector's rare, right? Like, that's insane to think about. So you kind of have to ask yourself, how much are you willing to spend on these collector's rares depending on what you want, right? Because cards like Chaos Diadalis aren't going to be as expensive as a collector's Pot of Extrav or a Pot of Desires, let alone a collector's Chaos Emperor or a BLS, right? We're talking about what collectors out of the 15 are going to be worth a lot of money, right? And if we're to think about it logically speaking, you can expect, obviously, the BLS Envoy, right, to be really high first edition collector's rare. And then we have Chaos Emperor Dragon, right? Because obviously it's an iconic card. And then you have both pots, Pot of Extrav and Pot of Desires. Pot of Extravs, by the way, already bought out. And we can't forget about first edition Stardust Dragon collector's rare. Now, we all have seen what Stardust Dragon does in terms of first edition ghost rares, right? It does a lot, and it's done crazy things on the market, right? And when you're talking about ratios, ghost rares actually have a very similar pull ratio to collector's rares. So we're talking about how many years down the line will these sought after collector's rares raise in value and kind of like settle at where they're supposed to be for the next 5 or 10 years before buyout after buyout after buyout, right? So I want you to comment down below. Where do you think these prices will be in 2 to 3 years, right? Like, do you think it'll be really high or really low? Like, will people just open so many of these that it'll just flood the market? But even then, even if Konami decided to re-wave Toon Chaos as an unlimited print, would a unlimited collector's rare be worth as much as a first edition collector's rare, right? And from a Yu-Gi-Oh player's perspective and someone who, you know, needs to dabble in this as a Yu-Gi tuber, I think that first edition stamp will hold true as it has in history's past, right? And then on top of that, you also have to ask yourself, is this set better sealed or is it better open, right? Because essentially a sealed box of Toon Chaos, I can see going up to about $100 per box, right? MSRP being $58. But if you were to open any collector's rare, right? Even the top 5 that I mentioned, you would like more than double or triple on the value of the box, right? Even from its inflated price of $100, right? Now, if you bought it at 58 and you pulled a Stardust collector's rare first edition, you would essentially make 5 to 6 times the money you spent on that Toon Chaos box, right? Now, a lot of players have been kind of comparing collector's rares to ultimate rares. Now, I don't think that is right, and there have been a lot of arguments on what is the max rarity, right? What is max rarity? Do you go by the price of the rarity? Do you go by the history of the rarity, right? Because a lot of people think ultimate rares are the highest rarity, but with Starlights trumping the price of all the ultimate rares, now you have to consider what really stands at the top and where does collector's rares actually fit, right? Now again, the collector's market is just as alive and well as the competitive or the casual market, right? No one trumps the other, and there's an absolute balance between the three, which is nuts if you really think about it. Okay, now for example, let's take a look at Ultimate Pot of Desires, right? The card is sitting around $85, right? Now let's look at the first edition collector's rare Pot of Desires. All right, we're looking at anywhere from like $160 to $200. Now, the pre-sale prices for any product is always going to be high, and there's nothing that you can do about it because people really want their shiny cardboard, including myself. All right, and now you also have to think back in the day, not a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh players collected their cards. Let's think about how many like day one cards are in mint condition, like ultimate rares, right? Like not a lot. Generally from vendor to vendor, they're literally recycling each other's lightly played, you know, lightly damaged, or, you know, etc type of cards. Like there's no real circulation of truly mint, like first edition old school cards, right? Like the whole collector's aspect like came like way after that. So you have to also understand ultimate rares and ghost rares and all these other rarities didn't really have a chance, right? Imagine if an ultimate rare or a ghost rare came out today, and let's say Starlights and collector's rares were the first rarities to come out before, right? The ultimate rare and the ghost rare would have that price hyped up and inflated just like the collectors and the Starlights are today in today's market. So you have to understand that the market back then is very different from the market today. And if the positions were flip-flopped, you would have a much different look at the market today, right? And you have to understand the competitive and the casual market, they sell in volumes, right? So let's look at Toon Chaos as a set. How many rare Pot of Desires are people pulling? Like an insane amount per box, right? But then at the same time, let's say I sell 100 Pot of Desires in rare, right? So then let's say I net like $120. And then if I sell one first edition collector's rare Pot of Desires, I'm making $160. Like pretty easily. So you can kind of see how volume versus like true value works in the Yu-Gi-Oh market, and how you potentially have to see what is more important to you and what is more valuable to you, right? Are you a player or are you a collector? These are things you have to understand when you're trying to decide what level of rarity you want to buy cards in, right? Anyways, guys, thank you for sitting there and listening to me rant for 10 minutes. I've never done a video like this before, so if you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe, like, and comment. Hit that notification bell to join the notification squad, right? And, you know, liking these videos kind of helps me understand like what type of videos to do and what not to do, because not every video is going to be a hit, and even videos like this could do really well. So it's up to you guys to let me know what I can do to kind of elevate the quality of our channel and the type of content we push out on a week-to-week basis, right? So I know this was kind of like a food for thought video, kind of like running that brain left and right. So if you have any comments about rarities or market prices and things like that, put it down in the comment section down below. And I want to engage with you as much as possible, and these type of videos help me to do that, right? So engage back with me by commenting on the video and telling me your thoughts about it, right? I freaking love you guys. All right, guys, so let's keep our community as wholesome as possible. No fighting, no arguing in the comment section. All right, guys, I freaking love you guys. I will catch you in the next one. It's gonna be good. The next video after this one is gonna be really freaking good. All right, so I will see you in that video. Just hugs and kisses. Hugs and kisses. This is Susu from Head to Head Battles, signing out.